You will find this lesson on pages 7, 8, and 9 on the Springboard Unit 1 PDF. If you'll go over these questions with me, you will be prepared for the Desmos activity that follows this assignment. So Springboard likes to use a lot of words. All you're going to be given when you start doing your assignment is information like this sentence. You're renting an inner tube. It costs a $5 flat fee plus an additional $2 an hour. So they want to know, can you make a table of how much it's going to cost based on the number of hours that it's rented? So that's the first thing that we're going to do is do that. So we keep the inner tube for 1 hour, and how much is it going to cost? Well, we have to pay a $5 fee and then $2 for that hour. So 5 plus 2, that means it's going to cost us $7. If we keep the inner tube for 2 hours, we got to pay the $5, and then we're going to have to pay this twice. So 5 plus 4 is 9. We keep the inner tube for 3 hours. We have to pay the $5, and it might help to write this down. We have to pay the $5 plus the $2. Here we had to pay the $5 plus the $2 twice. Here we have to pay the $5 plus the $2 3 times because we had it for 3 hours. This way you can see how we're calculating these numbers. So 2 times 3, that's $6 plus 5, so that's 11. And here we have to pay the $5 plus we have to pay the $2 for 4 hours. That's 8. 8 and 5 is 13, I believe. And then lastly, we have to pay the $5 plus the $2 for each hour. We keep it 5 hours. 2 times 5 is 10, so that would be $15. All right, then the next thing they want to do is they want to talk about if we, here they labeled this hours rented and cost. They're using words. You guys know in algebra we always use variables. So it says she wants to write an equation. She wants to use x and y in the equation. And she's going to use x. X is going to be the independent variable. And what would it be in this situation? So x is the number that has to happen in order for us to calculate the other one. So the independent variable is the one that has to happen first. Our cost depends on how many hours we rent the inner tube. So cost depends on hours, cost depends on the time. So the independent one is going to be the hours rented. What does the independent variable represent in this situation? This is where we're going to, why am I not? I changed it to eraser. This is going to be my x, this is going to be my y, this is always my independent, and this is my dependent over here. Okay, so in this situation, what does x represent? The number of hours a tube is used. What does the dependent variable represent? Well, that would be the total cost of the tube rental. Okay, write an equation that models this situation. So right here, each one of these places, this is going to be how we put it. What are we calculating right here? We're calculating the cost. So this was a y, this was a y, this was a y, this was a y. These were cost. And each time we took the $5, which it said that was the flat fee. Okay, that's where you started. Another vocabulary word that you might want to get familiar with is initial. The initial cost, the initial height, the initial position, the initial time. It's the beginning. That's another way to say when we started all of this. it cost $5, and then we added $2 for each hour. And they said up here that we were going to let X represent the number of hours. So this is an equation that models this situation. Our Y values right here were calculated each time by taking the $5 and then adding the $2 for each hour that we kept it. That's what we did on each one of those. We had it 1 hour right there. You can even put the 1. Okay, then problem number 6 says, how can you tell whether equation you wrote in item 5 correctly models the situation? Well, one thing you could do is see if we go back and plug in each one of these X values, do we get this Y value? So we could plug and chug. So we can say 5 plus 2 times 1 gives me 7. 5 plus 2 times 2 gives me 9. And I'm plugging in 1 hour should cost 7. So I'm plugging in the number of hours. 5 plus 2 times 5. That gives me, 15. Okay. So that's how we can show this right here, what we're modeling right here. This could be considered a numeric explanation, but it could also be considered, I'm hitting the buttons on my pen. It could also be considered an algebraic one. Numeric simply because we're doing the arithmetic right here, but it's algebraic because we're using the formula over here and plugging in numeric or algebraic explanation. Okay. It says use the grid below, and again I'm modeling this because each one of these things are going to be what you're asked to do on your practice. Okay, you're going to be asked to define the variables. You're going to be asked to fill in a table. You're going to be asked to write an equation. You're going to be asked to do all these things. So I'm modeling exactly what it is you're going to be asked to do. Now over here in small print, I have number 8. It says list 5 ordered pairs that lie on the graph of the relationship between X and Y. Well, we have 5 right here. I mean, you can write them as ordered pairs. I don't think it's necessary because for heaven's sakes, they're right there in the table. So you can continue writing those down if you want, but there's the 5 pairs, 1, 7, 2, 9, 3, 11, 4, 13, 5, 15. It says use this grid. Now here's the part that everybody misses. I'll make this just a smidge smaller. Write an appropriate title for the graph. The title for the graph goes up here. This is where we want the title of the graph. This is talking about all of this. So what is all of this involving? Where we're talking about, and it doesn't have to be exactly like this, no. Cost of tube rentals. Okay, that's what this whole situation is about. I mean, you could put on there maybe Sapphire Islands tube rentals, or you could. Nobody's has to be exactly the same, but it doesn't have to be informative of this situation. So write an appropriate title. You're going to be asked to do that on your practice based on the real world situation. Also write appropriate titles for the X and Y axis. So the X and Y axis, this is scaled for us. When you go to do your practice, there's not going to be scale. Scale is the number, okay? These numbers down here, this is scale. And I don't think yours is scaled. So this is saying that we can rent 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, 4 hours. And when they want a title, they want to know what are you what are you counting on this x-axis? As you move over one place, what are you counting? Well, here we're counting hours. What are we counting on this y-axis up here? Here we were counting, this was cost. And I'm writing sideways, so you'll have to be a little forgiving of my penmanship there. So we're writing cost there. So, and this is also money. So you can put a $ right there in parentheses. Hours is the units of measurement. So now it says graph the ordered pairs that you listed in item 8. So we know for 1 hour, it cost $7, and for 2 hours, it was $9. For 3, it was 11. Oh, I've got the wrong pen. For 3 hours, it was $11. For 4 hours, it was $13, and for 5 hours, it was $15. Now, how much was it for 0 hours? So, say you walked in the park and you picked up the tube. You had to pay a $5 flat fee. So the $5 flat fee is what happens. You had to pay that before you spent any time. You had to pay that probably at the tube rental place. And then when you turned the tube in, maybe you had to pay the rest of it. I don't know. But you do want to go ahead and put on there at 0 hours, you paid $5 because that was the flat fee. And then, of course, you would then connect the points on the line to make this solid. And the reason that we do that, do you remember from Algebra 1? The reason that we connect those is because can you stay an hour and 30 minutes? Yeah, you can. Can you say an hour and 10 minutes? Can you stay 3 hours and 59 minutes? You sure can. So since you can stay the time that's between 1 hour and 2 hours, you have to connect the cost that's between $7 and 9 hours. There has to be a cost there to represent it. This is what we call continuous data. It's something that we measure. We don't just count the number of hours. We measure how much time we had. And since we can have pieces of hours, we connect the dots. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here because of time, and we'll pick up where I left off in the next video.